All right, we're back live, and we have decisions and more decisions, big ones in this game because it went down to the final second. So I want to start with them individually, and we'll go around the horn here, starting with you first, Josh, and that would be 4th and 1 early in the game. And, you know, Zach Taylor decides to go for it, and when you do that, you miss, you give the team a tremendous opportunity field position, and the Rams took advantage. Would you have done that?
NFL these days to go for it on every 4th down. But I think you had to know coming into this game, this probably wasn't going to be a shootout. This was going to be probably a lower scoring game. You don't need to score a touchdown on the first drive. Why take that chance? I didn't like it at the time. I especially didn't like it now. And there's a theme here. If you're the Bengals, you're always going to second guess certain things, right? That's just one play. But I do think the Bengals would have been wiser to try to play a little bit more of a field position game. And along those lines, I don't think they gave Joe Mixon the ball enough. They couldn't block the Rams in terms of pass protection. We saw that all game. We knew that would be the case coming in. What's the best thing to do if you can't handle a team's pass rush? Try to run the ball. Mixon only had 15 touches. In retrospect, it wasn't enough. I think they were way too aggressive there. It just wasn't necessary at all, Bob.
Yeah, I didn't understand the P-Ryan plays, Bob. I mean, that's the thing that I'm going to look back on this and question. You want to go for it in those short yardage situations. Why are you using your second running back in those spots? Joe Mixon, to Josh's point, 15 carries. You know, he's your go-to guy in those spots. He's a physical running back. I think that's where I kind of draw the line. Why isn't he the running back that's involved in those plays?
I think it was because it was a third down play, right? At least the one at the end of the game there, and he's our third down running back. But, you know, you ask about going for it on 4th down earlier in the game. I wouldn't have went for it. But, you know, Zach Taylor has proven that he's that new wave of coaches that go for that type of thing. So, you know how analytics work. You got to do it every single time for it actually to work how it's supposed to be. And I think it takes a lot of common sense and feel out of the game. I think you kick the ball there and see what you can do there. But that's what these young coaches do nowadays. You probably, you know, to Josh's point about running the ball, man, that offensive line, it's not very good either. You know, I know you have to pick your poison there a little bit, but I probably would have ran the ball a little bit more as well, because that is one advantage I think you did have, because it was early on that you knew that Cam Akers or Darrell Henderson or whoever it was running the ball, Sonny Michel, wasn't going to run the ball for the Rams. So they probably, Zach Taylor probably look back on that and question himself on that.
There was a big 4th and 1 run, and it was a nice little jet sweep to the eventual MVP, Cooper Kupp, and that was a big play in this game. But there was also a big drop. Tyler Boyd had at least a play that could have been a first down, if not very close to a first down. He hadn't dropped the ball all year, and tonight he dropped one. How big was that play?
Huge, because I think they get points on that drive. I think that was a game-changing play. You know, it reminded me of some of these drops. Jackie Smith in the Super Bowl is obviously the famous one against the Steelers. Wes Welker against the Giants 10 years ago. He makes a catch inside the 20. They put the game away. Giselle freaks out on reporters afterwards and says, my husband needs his receivers to catch the ball. You know, it was one of those moments. You know, when it happened, I thought, we've seen this before, the turning point type of play where it gives the other team life. So, yeah, I think that's one where Tyler Boyd is going to be all offseason asking himself, why couldn't I hang on to it in that critical situation?
I mean, to his benefit, I mean, I don't know if that's a first down, although it does make it 4th and 1, and they probably go for it on midfield. So, I mean, if you're going to play devil advocate here and just say, try to take the blame off of Tyler Boyd because he's a local guy, you could say, well, it benefited him in a way because they were able to punt the ball and so forth and so on. But you're not going to see Tyler Boyd drop that ball very often. I mean, later when I believe they got the ball back with 90 seconds left, he made a nice catch very similar to that one across the middle. It just happens sometimes. It just happened in a bad situation right there. He was just trying to probably get that. He probably knew he was going to have to catch and get down low and try to get that first down. Yeah, but it is probably a game-changing play. However, they still did go 15, 16 plays in the last 5 minutes. I mean, you're allowed to stop them, not to sound like an old guy yelling the clouds, but you're allowed to stop him after that one play as well.
Yeah, Josh.
You're an old guy yelling at the clouds, Mark. That's okay. It was a huge play, no question. I don't think you would have had the first down like Mark said. It would have been 4th and 1. They probably go for it. Who knows what happens? And you know what's funny, Bob? the whole second half, I really thought Cincinnati was going to win that game. When Odell Beckham went out with the injury, it badly impacted the Rams offense. There was a large chunk of that game in which they could not move the ball. The Bengals went up 7. They were sitting really pretty. If Boyd makes that play, who knows? Maybe they do win the game. You could probably go back and find 5 or 6 plays in the game, like any other NFL game like that. But, yeah, you hate to see that for the local kid, Boyd, who's had such a good career with the Cincinnati Bengals, and it was his first drop all season. How about that?
Real quick, a minute here. I want to go around the horn, and we'll start with you, Andrew, about the way this game was officiated. There wasn't much called at all, and they missed some calls, yes, but they let them play largely until the end. Were you disenchanted a little with how the flags start flying at the end of the game?
Well, I just never like when a game has a certain standard for 55 minutes and then it changes at the end. You know, players get accustomed to how the game is going, and to abruptly change it like that just isn't fair. I mean, you're either letting things go or you're not. And to all of a sudden say, well, now the game's at the end, usually it's the opposite, Bob. Usually late in games, right, officials want to swallow the whistle. So that's what made the end of this game so befuddling, is that we almost never see the officials say, well, now let's throw flags and try to put our fingerprints on this game.
Well, if you watch the Bengals at all this year, they're a pretty highly penalized team here, which leads me to believe that I think the NFL probably said, hey, hold off on the flags early in this game a little bit. The one that really got me was the Logan Wilson one across the middle. That's one you just cannot call. That brings up a 4th down, and you're probably going to have, obviously 4th down and win the game or lose the game on that point. The other ones, I think.
Hey, Mark, he's a really good player. I like that 55 a lot more than our 55. That guy can play.
He's really good, really good.
And what I didn't like, guys, I watch a lot of NFL football. Every NFL game I see all season has about 20 flags in each direction, and suddenly in the Super Bowl we don't call anything. That was a little strange to me. I felt like I was watching a Stanley Cup playoff game where whatever's a penalty during the regular season suddenly is not in the playoffs. That actually kind of bothered me all game.
We got to go to a break.
I don't know that it really impacted the game one way or the other, but it was a little strange to me. It felt suspicious.
That call on Wilson was a little bit much. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to take a break. When we come back, who was the MVP? It was Cooper Kupp. Should he have gotten it? Next, right here on KDKA.
Brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Get the app today.